What's up, everybody? This is Devin White, linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're listening to the LCC Network. Go Bucks.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Commissioner's Clubhouse and the LCC Network for our part 5 of our LCC Power Rankings. And with me this evening, I've got Jordan Amafali back on the show here with us to break down the Conference B West Division. What's going on, y'all?
What's up? Good to be here on this Wednesday.
Oh yeah, let's go. Let's get this going. I'm excited.
Yeah, we don't actually have anything other than this to go over, guys. This episode actually might be a little bit shorter. We do have the draft coming up this Saturday, so we are days away now from draft day. Like every fantasy footballer's favorite day of the year. This is what we've been looking forward to. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm really sad I can't be with you guys in person, but it's gonna be. I'm excited either way.
Yeah, maybe one year we'll get you here for the draft.
Oh, I'll make it. I'll make it happen in one of these years for sure. I'll plan a trip down around that time.
Or we can all go to Boston.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Boston. Your cousin in Boston.
Oh man, but yeah. So let's just dive into it, guys. I mean, unless Jordan, was there anything I'm missing that we should go over before we start?
No, I guess quickly, if you're coming and you're going to be part of the food at the draft, send your $10 into Patrick.
Yep, you can Venmo it to me, you can PayPal it to me, or if you can bring cash, I'd prefer if you just Venmoed it. That way, I'm not paying so much out of pocket.
Or he should be setting up Zelle sometime after this episode, so that might be an option too.
Yeah, that might be an option. You can also pay me in Bitcoin as well if you want to. All right.
Yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, whatever you got.
Yeah. Or, if you have an OnlyFans and you just want to send me a video of yourself, I'll take that as payment.
Yeah.
Yep, that too.
That's reasonable.
That's reasonable. All right, so our first team, I don't know, we don't have an official team name for it anymore because their GM just stepped away, which was Mike. He was the GM of Dirty Mike and the Boys, actually. So we're just calling it a vacant team right now, but one of the worst seasons in LCC history by far. Finished 1-11, and honestly, his keepers weren't even that good. It's Kenny Galladay, Shaq Barrett, which is probably the best one on his roster, Bobby Okereke. Wait, no, I'm saying that wrong. Oh, how do you say it? Oh, correct? I don't even know.
Yeah, it's Okereke.
Okereke?
Yeah, something like that.
Okeke? I don't know. But then he's got Ronnie Harrison also as well, or he. We haven't actually officially replaced this GM yet. But, I mean, draft picks aren't bad. I mean, he's got the first pick in the draft. He's got a second-round pick, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So he has some decent draft capital, I guess. But let's be honest, it's not going to be enough, in my opinion, for this team to materialize anything meaningful for this season. In my opinion, unless there's some trades that happen leading up to draft day, I don't see this team being that relevant.
No, yeah. I agree. You go first, Jordan.
It's definitely a rebuild, so whoever takes it, I hope they're ready to play several years to try to turn it around and not just quit thinking it was going to be quick, but yeah.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah. If it was my advice to the new team, especially somebody who loves the trade, it's to start, looking to next year. I would, even if you got to give up some this year's picks for next year's, I would just kind of start building for, next year. You're not going to really do much with this keeper roster. Try to get what you can this year with your early picks. Maybe trade back with some of your mid-rounders. I know Over the Pants Handjob's been doing that, trying to stack up on some middle-round picks because he, was limited as well. I don't think he actually kept anybody either. So he was just trying to stack up on middle-round picks to help build out his roster a little quicker. So even if he takes a strategy like that and he still wants to try to shoot for it this year, but as is, you're not going to really be able to compete unless you really just, hit on every single draft pick that you make and, hit in a big way. So, good luck to him. I hope that whoever it is ends up listening to this and isn't too scared off, because I think that they definitely have enough where, eventually they could just start building for next year. I showed that, if you're willing to tank and, people get desperate enough for some players that are competing, they'll give up future assets for it. And you just got to be willing to make the effort to find the people that need the players. So.
Yeah, it's definitely a rebuild. I mean, and I'm not saying this team couldn't be halfway decent, but I mean, like I said, if I'm this team, me personally, I'd probably trade that 101 and try to get multiple picks for it. Because someone out there is desperate for a running back, and let's be honest, even if this team gets the best running back available, which they'll have the ability to do, it's not going to make a difference. Honestly, they're not going to win that many more games. I'd rather have more picks, maybe even a pick or two for next year as well, and really try to focus on building depth versus getting like one good player and then having basically no one else. So I would rather just have more picks. But that's just me if I'm inheriting this team. But
yeah.
Our next team that we have, and I think we can all say this is our least favorite team in the division. At least my least favorite. Actually, maybe not. When we get to this next team, you might see why. No, but right now in the Kids' Choice Awards, it looks like this team actually has a vote. It has one vote. Someone has voted for this team as the best team in the division. I'm guessing they accidentally.
Are we a joke to you?
I'm guessing someone like dropped their phone as they were trying to vote, and their thumb accidentally hit this team, or they did it as a joke, which is great. So our next team is Over the Pants Hand Job OTPHJ. Their team finished 3-9 last year, but this GM is brand new, Eddie, who is stepping in. He only has 2 players. Didn't keep a single player. His QB1 is Jameis Winston. His wide receiver is Tyler Boyd. He's got a first-round pick, a very early first-round pick, so he could probably get a running back, honestly. But then he doesn't pick into the third, and he's got 3/4. But I'm not crazy about that. I'd almost rather have the other team that we just discussed, the vacant team, because of the fact there's actually depth in that roster already, plus they have better draft picks, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about this team at all. I do like Jameis probably more than a lot of people. I feel like he's going to be a playmaker once he wins that job, because I'm not a fan of Taysom Hill. But other than that, he's got Tyler Boyd, which is a number 3 receiver now, really. So he's not working with much. He probably could benefit from trading a little too. Maybe he wants to move that 4 and start looking towards next year, or even an even lesser strategy would maybe not necessarily take somebody at 4 that's going to help you this year, but someone you could really see yourself wanting to keep for next year's roster, whether you might reach on him a little bit right now or not. But yeah, not a big fan of what he's got going on. What you think, Steve?
Well, yeah, definitely would have helped if he was able to keep some players, but he didn't. And I thought he did all right with his waiver picks. I thought Winston was a great second-round waiver pick, and I'm also a little questionable about Boyd. But either way, his draft capital is not terrible. I think he's definitely. I say there's almost a 99% chance he goes running back with that 4th pick. He actually traded up with me for that pick, so he had to talked a little bit about what he was planning on doing with that. So.
Okay.
I'm sure, because that's really what he realized. Without that, you're kind of doomed. You need at least one starter there. Almost every other position has at least some depth, but running back is so dry in terms of any depth in the draft. So,
and honestly, since he's made that move with you, I believe a couple more running backs have gone up in value.
Darrell Henderson's value was up, but maybe now back down a little bit because of the Sony Michel trade. But James Robinson value is as high as ever, and he's almost guaranteed to get him or Mike Davis. So I feel like that was a, good move for him to trade up there with me, because I might have taken one of those two. I'm a little bit more excited about Damian Harris now that Sony's gone, but I still might have taken a running back like a James Robinson or Mike Davis that I know is definitely going to be a number 1. But he's probably going to get one of those two, which I think will end up being a really solid pick. And after that, if he can build his roster with that third and then all those fourths that he has, like, he has a good chance. And I think, with those third and all those fourths, you could still build a pretty good defense if you hit on the right picks, and then, eventually maybe get a wide receiver. But I think, gets his running back there with his first pick, and then starts building his defense from there on out. He could put together a roster because, he got his quarterback, hopefully in Jameis, and, he can get his running back early, and then from there just try to build a defense, which I think is definitely possible. So we'll see what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll roll it over now to our third team in this division. And this is where things actually started to get interesting. We have the Libertad Lobos, who's, as a rookie GM last year, he probably made some mistakes that he wished he could have done a little bit differently. But he finished 5-7 last year, barely missed the playoffs, actually, wasn't too far out. He's got 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and you get the picture there. But this is a team that has plenty of depth and is going to acquire even more depth and starters early in the draft. So this is a team that I'm actually really interested in, and I'm not going to say necessarily this is a team that can, dethrone the Western Division champs over here, but he definitely has a shot at least splitting, going 1-1 versus Give Me More, Jameson's team. I mean, there's a lot of talent here. I mean, Julio Jones should be good in Tennessee. Antonio Gibson, we know what he can do. DJ Chark, I think it could have a great year. Taylor Rapp, of course, is amazing. And Richie Grant could be an exceptional flex player, depending on how he does in Atlanta.
Yeah, I like the Lobos a lot, and starting out, I know we haven't talked about them yet, but starting off, I like Jameson's roster a little bit more. But like you were talking about, once you start looking at capital still available, I really like the Lobos' chances of like catching Jameson and overall skill, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, he's got a really good start. How could you not like Julio? I don't think you'll see a drop off from Antonio Gibson, really. I like the direction their offense is going. Chark can't help but to go up in value with Trevor playing with him and 2 good safeties, like you said. But it's going to be really what he does with that early capital, and that's going to depend on if that springboards him ahead of Jameson or not, and which he could. I'm going to be interested to see how he plays it. Um, he might could even package something and move up a little bit more to add a little bit more of an elite player to that roster, and really go over the top. But we'll see how he does it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, everybody has been like spot on. He has a really great roster set up already. 2 first and 2 second round picks to work with. He is definitely going to come out firing this year. I think. I like his starters. I think he has. I'm a big fan of Antonio Gibson. I think, he could be one of the top 10 backs this year in fantasy. Big fan of Danielle Hunter. I think he'll be one of the top 5 DNs in fantasy this year. And then, Rapp and Grant could end up being really good safeties for him. And obviously Julio and Chark are very solid wide receivers to walk into the year with. And, all he has to do is get a quarterback and some linebackers. But with all that capital, especially early in the draft, I don't see how that's going to be an issue. So
Yeah,
I think he can build a great starting roster and then actually keep building some really solid depth too, and really just fill out this roster fairly early.
yeah.
In
He's
the
gonna
draft.
he's gonna have 2 first round picks before Jameson picks, so the rosters are gonna look fairly even by the time Jameson makes a pick.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, I mean I know a lot of people on the I voted on the Kids Choice Award already, and I'll just be a spoiler. I did vote for Levitar's Lobos because I think that the draft capital will push him over the top. But I will get the Jameson's team too. But
Yeah,
they're both going to be really good teams this year, so it'll be interesting. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, this is really the division is between these 2 teams. The other 2 are fighting over third. These 2 are fighting over first. That's just simply how it's going to go this year. I don't think there's any way to avoid that. But I do think those other 2 teams could position themselves in a good place to rebuild and, for next season and get ready. And maybe even have a good season and make a few upsets. Like, who doesn't enjoy ruining someone's playoff chances, like beating them late in the year, if you if you get an upset against either Libertari Lobos that give me more in week 1 or week 2, like you're probably gonna be laughing the rest of the season because no one had even predicted you have a close game against either of those guys. So I think that'd be really funny if one of those teams could win. Not trying to stir any bad juju for either of these two other teams, but I think that'd be kind of interesting to say the least. So our last team, like we said, is Give Me More. Went undefeated last year in the regular season, the only team in our league's history. And by the way, we've been running since 2010, if you didn't know. So that's a long time, and only one team to ever do it. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. Jameson has plenty of draft picks too, though. He's got a first round, a second, third, fourth, fifth, 2 fifths actually, and then he doesn't pick into the 8th and a few picks later. But again, another team with a lot of depth. Josh Allen, a quarterback, is no joke, especially with rushing potential there. Joe Mixon, if he can stay healthy, should be good. Trey Sermon has a lot of upside later in the year, in my opinion. And then you've got guys like Garrett, Jamin Davis, who I love in Washington. Patrick Queen should have a solid year. He's also got Bernard McKinney, so his linebacker core is set. And then he's also got Amani Hooker, who's a starting strong safety in Tennessee right now. So, yeah, a lot here that I like. This is the team that I voted for already for the Kids' Choice Award for the Western Division. I really think Give Me More, at the moment at least, heading into the draft, I like his team a little bit more, especially because of the fact that he has his quarterback and his Josh Allen. I think that gives him a huge leg up over Libertari Lobos.
Yeah, I was about going to say the same thing. As much as we said Lobos could catch him with the early capital, he would probably want an early quarterback somewhere in there. But even so, you're going to find it hard pressed to match Josh Allen unless you get Aaron Rodgers or something. So that's where Jameson's going to be the toughest to catch. And other than that, the rosters go pound for pound with each other, in my opinion. Lobo's running backs, I think, might be able to slightly outplay his, but I think Chase could have a good year. Myles Garrett's a stud. Like you said, his linebacking core is set, so if he goes with that first round pick and solidifies safety, like his starting roster is ready to run again. I'm not saying he's going to go 12-0 again, but he's going to be a tough out every single week.
No, I don't. There's no way he goes 12-0 this year. He has one of the toughest schedules in the league, honestly. And like the Lobos are way better than they were last year, and they almost beat him in Week 12. I imagine they split this year. I really do think they're going to split. I don't think either team's going to sweep the other, but both of these teams have a huge upside in the fact that they play these two bottom-of-the-barrel franchises twice. So that's a guaranteed, 4 wins right there for both these guys, more than likely, just to start out. And then you've got some other games to play. So things are going well for both of them, I feel like, at least at the moment, based off their schedule.
Yeah, just having those two teams, and seeing them each twice is definitely a plus side. But in terms of just Jameson's team, the one thing I will point out that I'm not a huge fan of, but he could obviously get another wide receiver 1, but I'm not sure I'd be too comfortable having my wide receiver 1 and my RB1 on the Bengals. I guess I know I get it. There's plenty of upside, but when you look up and down the NFL now, you hear that about almost 25 teams now. There's always like those 5 teams that are like, they're going to suck, but there's so many teams now, especially in the preseason. You're like, wow, this team could be amazing. Like if you really go looking deep into it, but I just really don't like their schedule this year. They play some really tough defenses. The Browns defense is good. The Steelers defense is good. The Ravens, and we just talked about, the division. That's 6 games right there for them against really good defenses, and their offensive line is very weak. So, I'd like to see Jameson hopefully get another wide receiver 1 because I know he's going to definitely roll Mixon as RB1, who I'm not that huge on. I mean, I get, Mixon's upside and all, but again, that offensive for me is just not going to cut it. Especially with, I think they have a very tough schedule. That division in general this year has a tough schedule. I know they were all like, the Steelers, Ravens, Bengals were all like top, 7 to 10 in terms of toughest schedules this year. So, according to like whatever website releases those at the beginning of the season. But, I do like his team though. Like you said, he does I'm not huge on Amani Hooker. I think that this site makes some crazy projections sometimes, like 37 for him. He's never really been. He's never been fantasy relevant, honestly. Like he's never even really been a like I get this is only his third year, but he's never even really been like close to that. And Kevin Byard pretty much dominates that secondary in terms of like the ball hawk. So we'll see. But that was just a waiver pick anyways. But his linebacking core is all set. He doesn't even have to touch that. His DN1 is all set. That's probably the best in the league, if not like top 3 for sure. And then the quarterback is another top 3 player. So I think just the fact of him having such an elite player at DN and quarterback helps for sure, because they're guaranteed top 3 at their position. But for me, I'd like to see him definitely add another wide receiver 1. Chase's your wide receiver 2 would be really nice. And then he's got to get some safeties, obviously. So we'll see what he does. I'm sure he'll go like safety, wide receiver, maybe with that first and second round pick or something. We'll have to see.
Yeah. I mean, this division will be interesting just for the fact that it's so polarizing. You know what I mean? Like 2 teams that no one's really expecting much out of. 2 teams I think everyone has in their radar to be potential playoff teams for sure. So it's going to be something to monitor throughout 2021. But that's all we got for this episode, guys. Anything you guys wanted to say before we hopped off?
No, I'm all good.
Yeah, I'm good. I guess did we pick our winners, or did we just talk about it?
I picked.
I was gonna win.
Me and Mafali said ours. Who did you vote for, Jordan?
I voted for Gimme More.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
So I figured, he was the consensus, but like I said, I think that I just think in the draft that Levitar's Lobos can jump him for sure.
Yeah, I believe he can too, but I'll.
Definitely just as of now, just roster, it's definitely Gimme More, but we'll see. It's going to be like Pat said though, it's those 2, and then it's like a huge jump to that 3rd and 4th team, so they don't really have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you all in our next episode, which will be out before draft day. These episodes are actually going to be almost released back to back. This one coming out tonight, Wednesday. Some of you may be listening Thursday morning. The next one will be out either Thursday night or Friday morning, more than likely. I'm imagining probably tomorrow night, just so that people have time to listen to both before draft day. So we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Everyone have a great night. Jordan's gonna sing us a song as we log off.
I am not singing a song.
We'll catch you guys in the next episode.